I know I think our stimulus, the ARRA, the stimulus fund, our state website is also near the bottom of the list for letting people know how that money's been spent.
Yep. We were actually below Alaska, which is not a good bar.
Yeah.
And that's this. You're starting to hear a cynicism in the state of Vermont that I've never heard before. Vermonters tended to be, and I think it's because our connection to our municipal government and town government,
Sure.
That we were not as cynical as other parts of the country about government.
Yeah.
But you're starting to feel that way.
Right.
And to me, I think it's because people don't have a sense they know where our resources are going. It's true, I think, with some of the issues around the CLA and property taxes and school budgets, where they see school boards working really hard to have a flat budget, yet their taxes are going up. All the way through to how our stimulus money is being spent. It would not be difficult to be able to just post, here's who's getting it, in what amount, and when the decision was made.
Right.
And that's something that we can do, and we really need to do, so that Vermonters feel connected to their state government and know that their tax dollars are being spent wisely.
Right. Yeah, nicely said. You mentioned Vista, and I mean the sort of tradition of service that's kind of ingrained here.
Sure.
Yeah, I hate to see that wither away with kicking off the 21st century. You also mentioned school boards and taxes, and that leads me to wonder what you're proposing for education.
Sure. So, education is a critical part of Vermont's future. I actually have a 4-year-old son who's going to be starting kindergarten
Congrats.
in the fall. I went to the Heartland Elementary School. My grandmother benefited from public schools in Newport, Vermont, and actually went in the late 1920s, went from Newport, Vermont to Boston University to get her degree.
Great.
And my son will be starting Heartland Elementary School
Yay.
in the fall. So it's important to me personally, but it's also important to the future of the state. That's why people want to come here. That's why Vermonters can stay here, and this is what they justify, because we have a superb education system. That doesn't mean we don't need to adjust with the times. We are now down to 92,000 school-age children across the state. And with that kind of decline in enrollment over a period of time, we need to make adjustments. The first is that we do not need 61 superintendents to oversee 92,000 children. We simply don't.
Okay.
And I've actually put a proposal on the table to reduce the number of superintendents and supervisory unions by 2/3. And that does not mean consolidating schools.
That's
or the
purely
proposal
administrative,
from the commissioner. Because what I know from my years working in business is that you first look to consolidate administrative functions before you start to do changes to the delivery mechanism.
Sure.
And the concern I have with the proposal is that it goes in just the opposite direction of what the rest of the country is doing. It actually would say that there's going to be one supersized school board with everything in command and control from that superintendent, and a required curriculum across the board, taking away both innovative kinds of schools like Sharon Academy, and also taking away the autonomy and ability of great principals and great teachers to be able to deliver education in a way that is fresh and new and prepares students for the next century. So I don't support that piece of it, but you do have the opportunity to consolidate those supervisory unions, save money in administration, but also encourage collaboration. And that's, I remember reading an article that was talking about how extraordinary it was that 3 superintendents got together and decided to bulk purchase fuel together and save lots and lots of money.
A major breakthrough.
And I said, really? That's newsworthy? If you're able to do the kind of consolidation of supervisory unions on that administrative front, that kind of collaboration can happen a lot faster. The same with other kinds of commodity, like paper. And then there's opportunities for doing sophisticated distance learning. So, and teacher-aided, right? Nothing will replace extraordinary teachers directly working with students. But if you aren't able to offer more than one math class in 8th grade, and you could, if you shared a teacher among several schools and
Right.
use interactive technology to be able to have real-time conversations and lessons, you can.
Right.
And you can actually augment the great education system we have now and make it better while making it more efficient.
Yeah.
And the same is true with special ed, which you know more about than I do. But there are opportunities to be able to share under that kind of umbrella strategies for working with special needs students, working with parents to make sure that they're getting the best possible special ed for their kids, which isn't always the most expensive, and isn't always what a parent feels is immediately absolutely necessary because they're worried about their children.
Right.
So there's opportunity for that kind of collaboration, which brings me to the final piece in education, which is we have the opportunity in our state to be the demonstration project for the world for how a high-quality early childhood education system can dramatically reduce demand on special ed. All of the studies out there show that that's what would happen. We right now have 15,000 kids between the ages of 2, 3, and 4 years old. That's it. And to national foundations that I've talked to that are interested in this, they salivate at the opportunity to be able to fund the kind of innovative ideas that Vermont education innovators have come up with to be able to test that hypothesis and to provide really high quality early education.
Those are manageable numbers.
Exactly. And then once that works in Vermont, once the rest of the country sees that that kind of investment has a huge payoff in reducing special ed costs, the rest of the country will follow. And we'll do well by our Vermont children, and we will be able to lead the way in the country.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nicely said. As we close, I need to ask you the question, as the world of the internet and bloggers tend to be sort of science fiction aficionados. There's a central issue of concern that has now sort of been tainted by John Odom of Green Mountain Daily, who insists there's only one right answer to this question. But I actually think it's a matter of taste. So the floor is open.
That's good. That's
open
good.
source
Yes.
all the way.
Yeah.
So Star Wars versus Star Trek, where do you stand? What's your preference and why?
With all due respect to John Odom, my answer is Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, really?
And the more recent version of Battlestar Galactica. I am a fan of Star Trek, and actually the most recent movie was I thought quite good.
From last summer, right?
Yeah, yep. Star Wars, I have to say the first three, which were actually the latter three, were much, much better than anything that had Jar Jar Binks in it. Thank you very much. But I believe Battlestar Galactica,
really,
with a female Starbuck.
Okay. This is the latest one, not the 1978.
Not the 1978 one. The latest one I thought was extraordinary. And my question is, do we know who the Cylons are in this race for governor? That's what I think we need to keep an eye on. So
I'll work on translating that. The Cylons are they Borg-like? Are they bad guys? Are they? I'll learn. I'll educate myself.
So, and I would recommend to anyone Battlestar Galactica.
Is it still in the air? Is it still running?
No. It finished its full season. You can actually rent it, which I highly recommend. And you can, but be careful. Make sure you don't have anything to do the next day, because once you see one episode, you want to see the next and the next. It's actually superb science fiction.
Okay. Yeah. That's exciting. There's a third option, people. Who knew?
A third way.
That's right.
Fresh, new ideas that we can bring to the table.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
So on that note, we will say goodnight, and thanks so much. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
We're signing off. Take care, everyone.
Technology provides, and they seek the primitive.
There are many who are uncomfortable with what we have created. It is almost a biological rebellion, a profound revulsion against the planned communities, the programming, the sterilized, artfully balanced atmospheres. They hunger for an Eden where spring comes.